Hello and welcome to another episode of Thursdays with Tracy. Of course, I'm Tracy. I'm so glad you all are here. So before we get started, I want to remind you to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And you see that little note on the screen. Tracy Media is having a telethon January 8th, I believe, of 2022. The information is right there. We need some equipment very, very badly. So I'll be doing some things like singing, dancing, maybe drop a couple of bars. I don't know yet, but it's going to be a fun time. So get your tickets and go from there. And of course, support us on Patreon. And so before I bring my guests on, I'm into trains of thoughts. One thought is, and of course I'm talking about the election that was held this past Tuesday. One train of thought says, this is just what you get, Democrats, ha ha ha. But then the other side of me just wonders how much blame we're going to get. And I'll kind of explain what I mean, but I want to bring on my guest Theus before I get started into my vector chart. So I'm going to bring him on here.
Hi,
Hello,
Tracy.
sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. What you got playing in the background?
This is, and I apologize. Let me stop because I play it so much I forget it's even on. Um, there's this on Spotify. It's called Chill Hop.
Okay.
Some people call it lo-fi, but it's all instrumentals and it's like predominantly really chill, like jazz accoutrements and stuff. So I'm like, it's on so much I forget it's on. So I do apologize.
No, that's okay. I was like, okay, let's go. But I can't dance, so don't nobody want to see that. So, as I was saying in the beginning, I'm really at a loss for words because I have two trains of thoughts. My first thought is this is just what the Democrats get, ha 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 ha. But then I'm like, no, you can't really do that because this could be a what's that word I'm looking for? A precursor to 2022. And if this is the way it's gonna go, we in some real trouble. But then my second train of thought says, how come when Democrats lose, they want to blame progressives? So I'm like in two trains where I'm like, okay, I want to laugh in their face, but then I want them to stop blaming us when they lose.
Well, no, I feel you. I think a big part of it is it's all comes down to marketing and messaging. Um, and when you're the like if you walk into a room full of criminals and you're the one do-gooder, comparatively speaking, you're now the criminal and they're the do-gooders because you're the outsider, right? So I expect them to scapegoat. They're going to scapegoat the progressives. They're going to scapegoat black people. They're going to. It's just what they're going to do.
Now that's the one I didn't mean to cut across you. That's the one that's throwing me because I'm like, well, wait a minute. Black people voted, and I looked at the numbers. I'm like, well, black people voted for, especially in the Virginia race, they really voted for McCollum. So
Hmm.
I'm like, how do you blame? Well, that one just didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm thinking too much about this.
It doesn't have to make sense because it's already battle tested. I mean, 13% of the black vote went to whatever that guy's name in on the Republican side, and the other 86% went to McAuliffe, right? But the problem with our positioning in this game is it's never changed, and the Democrats use us as a foil. The black vote is really a tiebreaker vote. Malcolm spoke on this way back in the 60s, where he was saying, whichever way you go is the way it goes. And because the Republican Party is so onerous, the black vote has to stay away from conservatism, right? Even though we have a lot of conservative values in the black community, we can't deal with conservatives because they're hostile to us, right? So the only place to go is the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party, like any abusive partner or spouse, knows you ain't got nowhere to go. And so they do just enough to keep you hoping for better, but all you really will get is another round of abuse. So yeah, I look at it and I'm like, the obvious facts are that elections are won and lost. What's good, sir? Elections are won and lost by white people. It's that simple.
Exactly. Yep. That's just facts. I mean, 60. I think I was reading somewhere 67% of white people vote Republican.
Yeah, overwhelmingly.
Yeah, it's like why?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
why?
you have one party that's like 95% one group, all white. And then you have another party that is basically taste the rainbow, you know? But that's because all of the aggrieved groups in America can't be Republican because of the hostility. So the Democratic Party is huge, but it's extremely fractured because we're all comprised of aggrieved groups. And where I keep getting into back and forth lately is with white Democrats because the message keeps coming across as I don't understand what I'm talking about. I'm misinterpreting things. I'm being too emotional or not being pragmatic. The typical,
The typical BS.
get
Yes.
in line and follow along and we'll take care of you later type stuff. And while I don't agree with a lot of the progressive messaging that's been happening leading up to this, because I do think that even though everyone is rightfully upset and frustrated, that we create our own self-fulfilling prophecy. So we are completely disgusted with the Democratic Party because we should be.
Right.
But we speak so much about that in mixed company that becomes as though we're even against it altogether, which then creates more of an energy of why bother, which then decreases the raw numbers of people. Because if you think about it, man, if I go out to vote, I got to deal with longer lines. I got to deal with, they're probably going to say that I'm at the wrong polling place. I got to deal with, do I have the right ID? All this junk that the
mm-hmm.
Republicans are doing to keep me from voting. I have to go and get through all of that to go vote for somebody that I don't like. So
Yeah, I asked my
it's like
question. Yeah.
we're creating our own barriers when right now, it's
But
but I have more on that, but I'll cut that right there.
yeah, it's like this circle, and we just keep running around it because it doesn't do. And everybody just please be patient with me because, like I said, I got a lot of cut off thoughts, and I'm trying to get it together in a sentence that makes sense. Primarying these Democrats doesn't seem to be working.
Why do you say that?
I'm gonna give you a really good example because I got to talk about Doofus
New
Byron
York.
Brown. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about him later, but he's an example of okay. We get India Walton, great progressive candidate, terrible on charter schools if the article is true, but okay, we'll just accept it. She literally beats him, but because he's a little whining, crying little baby, and he can't take a loss, and he goes all Trump and says, "No, I really won."
And the
He
party is corrupt.
and the party is corrupt. Thank you. He launches his write-in candidacy, gets Republican support, and then ends up winning. How? She legitimately won that. She legitimately won that. She should have been the only person on that ticket. Period.
But that's not the system. Like, we only advocate that way when it supports what we already want. So that's the dangerous game we're playing, is
Yeah.
that we're not playing for keeps. So she won the primary election by beating out the incumbent.
Right.
And the rules of the game are you got to beat all comers. So You still have to beat if there's a Republican opponent, and you still have to beat if there's a right opponent. So she crossed the first one, and then the Democratic Party. See, this is how you know that the Democrats are
You just,
intentionally this bad.
yeah, that's why you just got to my point.
Yeah, because they show you that when it matters for their interests, they can play dirty. So they went and got someone who got beat in our side, in the Democratic side. Okay. He got beat. So then the party is supposed to rally behind the nominee.
Right. They didn't.
But they didn't, because the nominee threatens a lot of ways things happen. She may not even be able to do anything, but it's the fact that what she represents is a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's like, okay, well, hey, do the write-in thing, and what we'll do is we're going to pull a Manchin for you. You do the write-in thing, I will get you some Republican votes, and I will bring you the Democratic votes, so that will starve her, artificially inflate you, because as bad as you are, you're not as bad as what we could get.
And that's what makes me so sick, because I'm on this self campaign to get more progressives to run. I'm like, okay, primary them. Well, what good does it do when you run as she ran as a Democratic socialist? Well, let's just say she just ran as a regular old Democrat, but she has progressive leans. They just coalesce. They did this. The Nina Turner campaign is the perfect example. Nina Turner had that race won until Jim Clyburn and Hillary Clinton and the Democrats said no, and put their money behind a lady that literally said her campaign was, I'm going to support Joe Biden. What does that do for people in Cleveland 11? I don't.
Well, the problem I see is we don't want to play the game right. So our base, so for like you, who is a self-identified progressive, you have me, who is more just a self-identified independent who has the vote Democratic, but I purely vote off of what I view to be Black issues, but and also a class agenda too, because the two overlap in so many ways. But we as a whole, like if you take both of our grassroots groupings, I guess you could say, we want someone who's going to go in there and fight, right?
Yep.
Well, here's the problem with that. We in order to get our support, our politicians have to show their hand too early. So they can't go in looking like a normal Democrat who just has some more aggressive ideas, but overall they feel kind of vanilla. We won't support that, because we'll look at that and we'll be like, ooh, corporate, ooh, moderate, right? But if we want to play the game, we have to have a Nina Turner, and we have to have, I don't know the lady's name in New York, but we have to.
Walton.
Okay, Miss Walton. So you have to have them, but in order for them to actually play this game, they have to either be running in purely safe seats, which is hard to do because of the corruption, but also they have to be able to get past the first couple of battles, and then they can show their true colors, get elected, and take off the suit, put on the t-shirt.
So you're saying, if I'm getting this right, I don't mean to keep cutting across you, because I hate doing that. But you're saying, let's just say I decide to run for city council. Audience, I'm not running. I'm telling you now, I'm not running, but I'm just putting this scenario out there.
Tracy 2022.
No. No. But I decide to run. So in public, I just had this kind of a moderate Democratic thing. Now, I'm not accepting corporate money. That's never, ever going to happen, period. I don't care. Just not going to happen, because I don't do that. But I say to the public, okay, we need to do things in moderation. I get elected somehow. And then I pull off my disguise and say, okay, we're going to get progressive in these streets.
Yeah, I don't know how practical it is, but that is what I'm saying.
I want to make sure, because I'm like,
because the other side, that's what they do. Kirsten
really
Sinema is one of the best examples of that. I will be what the demographics that can elect me requires me to be to get through the electoral process. Once I'm in and I know that I'm safe for the next 6 years, I'll do what I want to. Right. So there is a way to, and Republicans do it all the time. Like they don't even listen to their constituents. They
No, they just bring
they
up fake
preach,
issues.
yeah, they scream blood and country and Bibles and guns until they get
Yeah.
elected, and then all of a sudden they ain't got nothing to say about anything. So they do it all the time. So yeah, I am saying that's what we would have to do, but I don't know how you can practically do it because you're walking into uh, a pride of lions,
Right.
and you're a tiger. You know what I'm saying? Like you can put on a lion costume and walk in there, but you ain't gonna smell right, you ain't gonna walk right, you ain't gonna talk right. And if you do manage to somehow walk, smell, and talk right, how do you keep yourself from becoming changed? It's it's
That's what I
it's
was
like
just
being
wondering. I'm
it's
like,
like being a good cop being sent to a corrupt precinct. They take like three good cops from them. It's hypothetical. They take three good cops from Orlando, and they say, okay, we need to fix the police department in Tampa. So we're going to take these three stellar officers and stick them over there. Well, that's three going in with 200.
right.
How long before you either get ran out, killed, or pushed into submission? Ain't enough of you. Like I hear some criticism about AOC. AOC, I've even voiced some of it. You know, AOC is not as bold as we would want her to be. But I'm like, yo, AOC is in there by herself. There's like 6 people. What you gonna do? You know? So if we want to actually fight, we got to swell the numbers. If we and in order to swell the numbers, we got to have people who, if they're gonna be crooked for us. You
Yeah,
know?
that's like, I'm like, wow, I just never even, I don't know if it's even possible for, because that would just be like, okay, I know I'm lying. I know I want to defund. I know me. That's why I can't run for office because I know I'm gonna hit you straight. I'm gonna do this, and this, straight up, no chaser. That's me. Probably why I will never get elected to office. That's fine. That's cool. You don't have to work in office. You can work in the community other ways. But that's an interesting point. I just never thought of, hey, act like a moderate, run like a moderate, still don't take the PAC money because that's garbage. Still don't do attack ads, but once you get in there, you flip and you
Yeah.
go.
I mean, that's one way.
Wow, that's
Now,
one way.
now personally, I think, and it took me a long time to get here because this is one of the things that got in the way of me ever starting my foundation. That's right, man.
No, Marlon,
Uh,
no.
but that's part of what got in my way of running my foundation because I want to build an organization that is not exclusively for Black people, but it is intentionally for Black people. And I want it to be funded by the people and staffed by the people because I want the people to see that, yes, you can do this. You
Absolutely.
don't have to take money from companies or organizations that mean you no good just so you can have some money in the pocket to run your organization. You don't have to bring various white functionaries in to help lend credibility to what you're doing because you are credible because you are, you know. But where I was getting in my way with that is we ain't got the money.
We sure don't. We poor.
So, well, right now, the name of the game is corporate PAC money. Right now, because I mean, that's Citizens United. And now some judge has passed it where foreign entities can flood money in as long as it's not the general election or something like that. So all this money's coming in. And I don't see the practicality of telling our people go in there broke. So take the PAC money, take the
Oh,
lobbyist money.
no.
Hear me out.
I'm
Take
gonna
the
hear you
PAC
out
money,
because I'm like,
take the lobbyist
nah.
money, take all that money, right? Because at the end of the day, it is you as an individual who are responsible for your decisions and actions. Period. Point blank. End of the story. So If you are crooked for the right reasons, because I don't think too many people can be straight laced and do this kind of thing that we're talking about. But if you can be crooked for the right reasons, then all that money helps you get elected. Let's say you get elected to being a senator. It's a 6-year term. If your true inner core is serving the people, you took the money to get in the seat. You're in the seat. They can't get you out. So now, work for the people. You took money, so you're going to be set. You won't get reelected, but oh well, you weren't there for that. You're there to be a change agent. Personally, I'm good with that.
Not the PAC money. Anything but the PAC money.
It's not, because it's what we get stuck so much on the principles that we will lose the overall fight, because we want to send in the perfect soldier. Like, we are trying to craft the tallest, strongest, most beautiful, most talented. He's got perfect eyesight and wavy, wonderful hair, and the Jerry curl juice don't drip down his back. We want this perfect thing. But it takes a lot to build a perfect thing. So let's say you managed to build a couple perfect things. In the time it took you to make 3, they got thousands.
Corporate money, though. Corporate. That's see. This is ultimately. I hear what you're saying. I hear you, but I'm like, no.
I'm a cynic, and I'm also a realist, and not a realist, pragmatic, I guess you could say, because I look at it like when we look at yeah, exactly, but you have to be true to what your core is. And see, the problem with that, I feel, is once you get in there into these spaces, because Tracy, you already know, just to get on the ballot,
yes, it's hard.
It took years of networking to get people to let you be on the ballot. Yeah, you can look online that says, pay $200 and get 1,500 signatures. No. You can get that if you want to. If the local party don't want you,
they don't want you.
It's a wrap. So there's a lot of elbows and hugs and glad handing and all that stuff that goes on. So we need to raise politicians for us. And what I mean by that is, it takes a particular type of person to be a politician.
Yeah, it's going to take somebody that don't give a darn, because I'm not that person.
Well, not necessarily, but it takes someone who's less principled. Like, I couldn't do it because I'd show my hands too quick, right? But if you have someone who otherwise would be a traditional Democrat, but because you got to them when they were 12 years old and they first started showing an aptitude for debate and legal and manipulation, all those types of things that will make you a really good politician, right? And you got to that person early and you helped build their worldview. And then the community, see, this is an important part. The community makes sure that the whole time he or she is in high school, they never have to go get a second job. We got money flowing into your pocket to make sure high school is comfortable for you. And we have attorneys and other Black or progressive or LGBTQ, whatever attorneys that will let you intern with them. So they're teaching you the ropes and they're keeping you engaged. We're keeping you paid. Then you go off to college. We still keep the money in your pocket, because see, we don't need you to be used to getting money from all these different places. We need you to always know that whatever you make, we're going to make sure you make a little bit more.
Yeah.
Then when they get ready to go to be a politician, we can't compete with these Coca-Cola.
No,
right?
we can't.
We can't compete with the Koch brothers.
No.
Right? But if we help create your worldview, because it ain't hard to do, because that's how we have ours. So if we help you create your worldview, that's in you. Your gifts and talents make you good for being a politician. The community is making sure that you're making an extra $150,000, $200,000 a year, because it doesn't take a lot to do that if it's the community pouring into a couple people, right?
Right. Okay.
Now, yes, The Coke company could come to you and say, "Here's $150,000, but you got to work with us." It'd be a lot easier for that person to say, "No, I don't line up with that. I don't need
That's
that."
the part. That's the part.
But
When you
we
said
keep wanting our people to do that. But we keep wanting our people to do that and not give them any money.
that's a good point. Now I'm with you when you right on that. But I'm just like not the PAC money, not the PAC.
If it's not the PAC, well, what if it's our
not.
PAC? If it's our PAC,
If it's a PAC that is our PAC, yes, I would take money from the Justice Democrats. No, they're not going to endorse me. But okay, let's just.
If you had the Justice Democrats, you got the Wolf Pack or whatever, you got the progressive wings, you got all these different. We're fine as long as we agree. You see what I'm saying? So fine. If we don't want them to go in there and take money from the multinational corporations who only seek to undermine the working people, then we need to give them some money.
Yeah. Oh,
we got to stop trying to hope people gonna do stuff because it's the right thing.
Because they not. But we got a special guest here decided to just come on. Let me bring him on.
Oh.
I guess he couldn't stay away for long.
I look like crap. I feel like crap, but I'm here.
Marlon like Thea's up there talking about doing stuff crooked.
Offer to shock everyone. I agree.
Yeah, y'all two agree, and I'm just like, not the PAC money.
This is the deal. And I'm not speaking for you, Theas. I just want to put it in a tight knit. All you doing is doing Republican things. You're gonna lie. I ain't gonna say lie, cheat, steal. That's a lie. All you really doing is you're playing the Republican game, knowing that the end result is that you're going to be doing it for the people instead of for the corporation, which is what the Republicans do. Yeah, I'm going to do for the people. I'm going to do, knowing that your money is coming from corporate and you're going to do the corporate bidding. All we're really saying is you're just reversing it. Yeah, I'm going to do the corporate bid. Yeah, give me the money. Yeah, oh, sure, I will look out for you as much as I can. And as soon as you get in there, yeah. So we need to talk about that universal health care. Yeah, I know I didn't run on it, but seems like a good idea now.
Yeah, I see the light.
You know what?
Who is
I was totally against that $15 minimum wage, but now that I'm here, that kind of makes more sense. Yeah, you're gonna lie yourself in there, and the deal is you're gonna pull a Kristen Sinema. You're gonna do as much damage as you possibly can, knowing you're not gonna be reelected.
I got some problems with what y'all saying. I hear what y'all saying. I hear every word. Some parts of it make sense, but here the part for the principal progressive that she can't roll with. Because I'm one of the ones, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do straight up front. I'm not gonna lie about it. That's me. And that's a whole lot of
you. Who said you was lying?
We wouldn't run you.
Yeah, don't run me.
That's just it. You would be part of the control committee that's helping to build the world view and the political view and the platform and all that stuff that runs behind the scenes. That's where people like you and I would come in. Yeah. We can't be out there up front because somebody gonna say something to us and make us mad.
Yeah, okay, sure are. Because I'll be like, let me tell you something. I'll go little daycare girl in a second. Like, let me tell you something.
But there are people out there who have the skills in all of our various communities and groups in the Democratic Party. We have them out there, but we're all being forced to lower our voices or moderate our tones just to exist in a party that takes us all for granted. And then we get mad that it's taking us for granted. So then we start complaining about how it's taking us for granted. So then we suppress the vote that we need to stop the people who want to hurt us. So now the people who wanted to hurt us are more emboldened, more empowered because we depressed our own numbers. So it's like we're doing our enemy's bidding.
Like, here's my only question to y'all. Where is these people at that y'all talk about? I don't know them. Maybe I just don't. Maybe it's circles that I run around. Cause I'm like, I can't imagine anybody that I would know that would say, okay, I'm for this, but in public, I'm gonna say this. And
man, you know, a lot of them go to church with you. A lot of them run businesses. I'm just saying these are human beings. See, what I'm getting at is different people have different talents
That's true.
and they have a unique blend to make them who they are. So I'm saying you have to go find that type of person.
Yeah,
See,
because
we have a lot of people. I'm gonna say most, but it probably is most people who run for elected office. There's a part of them that actually wants to make a change. And what happens is the longer you're in this system, the more it changes you. Because see, this system is 300 plus years old,
right.
even older than that, because it came over from the old country, right? So you really think something that's 3, 4, 500 years old isn't ready for one, two, three people?
And I can tell you exactly who you. I can tell you exactly who the people are. I can tell you without you. Well, you're gonna have to do research after what I say.
Yeah.
But the deal is this: find the one name that's running for office, any office, and find a name that you haven't heard of. Find a name that you ain't heard on the radio. Find a name that you haven't seen on TV. Find a name that you haven't seen in the newspaper. You know why you haven't seen them? Because they don't have the money to advertise like the people you have heard of.
Great point. Yeah.
That's a good point.
The ones
Yeah.
you need to go do your research on and go, I wonder what their thoughts is. I wonder what their beliefs is. It's out there. It's just not as much. So Tracy, it is there are people out there, but because they like you didn't take corporate money, didn't take a PAC or anything else, simply just get their name out there like this is more entertainment than it is politics. Then those are the people that you may want to start throwing your hat behind.
Yeah, those are the ones that are dying on the vine.
Yeah,
Those are the ones that are so tired because their campaign staff is them, their sister, their eldest child, and their mother, right? They have the desire and all those different things. Some of them have the skill set to be a politician, but they don't have the money and they don't have the connections to rise beyond running for a local dog catcher.
yeah,
You know, when you need that person to be in your state legislature, you need that person to run for a state senator. But in order to run for state senate, I'm sorry, to run for federal senate for your state, you have to be a celebrity. You have to have millions of
Yeah,
dollars
you do
behind
have
you.
to have money.
it's became a it's an entertainment
Yeah, I'm
industry.
just like
If Warnock
yeah.
didn't come out of, because I'm Georgia, if Warnock didn't come out of Martin Luther King Jr.'s church, you really think anybody would have known who this man was? So if we want, it's like we have to fight the fight that we're in, not the fight we want to be in.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking because I'm like take. I'm gonna have to ponder on this one. This is one I'm gonna have to sit back and think about it and just really let that one because I've never heard that perspective. So I'm like, wait a minute,
I
I'm gonna put some
consider it
I'm
I
gonna put some
consider it
thought to
guerrilla
it.
warfare. Think
Yeah,
of if this
that's
helps when you go back and think about it, think of it like guerrilla warfare. In guerrilla warfare, there's what you see in front of you, and then there's all the things that are happening in the background. What you see in front of you, like in Vietnam when the Vietnamese were fighting against the American invaders, what you see in front of you are poor people, rice farmers, blah, blah, blah. What you don't see is the recruiting, the camps, the tunnels being dug, the plans being made. See, you don't see that part. So all the stuff that me and Marlon are hitting on, that would be happening in the background.
Yeah,
What's happening
yeah,
in the front, which is where we have our biggest issue, is because our all these different groups are so pissed because we're tired.
yeah. We
Okay.
tired.
But the funny thing is, and is going to insult some people, we ain't got no right to be tired because we are Johnny come latelys.
Yep, we
The
came late
people
to the
who have the
game.
right, the people who have the right to be tired are dead, or being called sellouts now, or any number of things. They have a right to be tired.
yeah.
They've been fighting this fight for 30 years, 40 years, or died trying to march or something like that. They tired. We just getting started. We've been engaged for 5 years, maybe 2 years, possibly. The hell you tired from? I'm sorry. What are you tired from?
You're
So,
tired from reading about it.
yeah, you tired of how you feel about it.
But okay,
You the march and the campaigning and everything. You just tired of reading about it. You're
yeah,
frustrated. You're staying up late at night after something you read. Bro, sit your butt down somewhere for real.
yeah.
You
So,
have
mhm.
nothing.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm going to think about it because I really want to get to my next topic. And Theas, you hit up on it. Downtown Dookie Brown. Byron, Byron Brown is the epitome of garbage.
Which one
If
is this?
garbage, Byron Brown is that little idiot that ran
Oh, the
in
New York
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Yes, the write-in campaign. We were just talking about it.
Oh,
This man, let me just get all my little crust out here. He makes me sick. I do not like him. He's Black Trump. He whined and he cried about, oh, I lost. Now I'm hearing reports about fill-in pre-ballots, which is like really blowing my mind. How in the world did he win a write-in campaign? I'm literally like, I don't understand. If there's only one name on the ballot, most people just vote for the name on the ballot. She was the only person on the ballot. How did she lose? I don't understand.
The way you lose is when we are in an American system that runs off of two parties that is actually private and not public. You know what I'm saying? Like Republican Party and the Democratic Party are corporate entities. They're not like something in the Constitution. So Democratic Party didn't like who just tried to do a hostile takeover in Buffalo. So what do? They created a whole second election by doing a write-in campaign that's not like if me and you were doing a write-in campaign.
Because I could imagine if she had said, like, let's just say India Walton lost the primary election. And she said, I'm going to do a write-in campaign.
She'd have
The
lost.
media, yeah, she would have lost. But the media would have painted her, oh, she's a sore loser. How dare she do that? He won fair and square. Nobody did that to him. Oh, no,
they either ignored it completely or they did like a real quick, India Walton won. And then they did their little smear campaign that's about being a Democratic Socialist because there's only room for one of those at a time. And right now that's Bernie. Well, there's two. You can have Bernie, you can have AOC, right? One in the Senate, one in the House. But as more people keep trying to crowd into those lanes, that's a problem because the real master is corporate interest.
Okay? I'm just still like, I don't understand. I'm like, how? How could you lose?
Democrats really have took one little play from the Republicans, and that is blaming without explaining exactly why it's the other person's fault. So they always will
Thank you.
say, well, it's those progressives' fault. How?
No, here's what they didn't support Biden's agenda. Yes, they did. They supported his original bill. You know, the one he really didn't want, and he just kept lowering and lowering and lowering. You know that one.
Yeah, it's. I know we just kind of pivoted to the progressives, but yeah, I was having this back and forth with certain people. I've given up now, mainly because I've kind of retracted from the whole politic at the moment because the elections are over, and so now I'm getting back to what I'm more focused on, which is trying to learn how to organize. But they're blaming the progressives, and let's say
and black people. Don't
right.
forget black people.
They blame black people for the loss of Virginia. But they're blaming progressives for the situation with Biden's agenda. And both are completely disingenuous because the real obstacles in both cases are white people.
Exactly.
So when
that's I'm like, is y'all in the way?
So it's like on the Biden agenda thing, the progressives are literally backing the original plan.
The one that he supposedly wanted.
The one that Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi said, this is what we're going to do. And the progressives said, okay, as long as that's what we're going to do, I back it. I back both bills. I'd rather it be one big bill, but if this is what you guys need, fine. I back both bills. And they stayed on that track, never came off that track. But what they did with, though, is always be willing to negotiate within the bill that mattered most to them. And it's come down from 6 to 3 to 1.7, right? So You can't blame them for not negotiating when they're the ones who are moving numbers and are moving ideas. And then ignore, in this particular case, Manchin, who has said 1.5. And when they said, well, will you move off that? He said 1.5.
But he
And when they
was saying
said, well, let's
4.
keep doing it. And he said, how about 0? So that's not negotiating. That's hostage taking. But
And here's the deal too. When they said that the progressive are not supporting the infrastructure bill, basically they're not talking about the human one.
no,
Yeah,
they're
they're
talking
talking
about
about
roads and bridges.
the yeah,
Physical
they're talking about roads and
infrastructure bill,
bridges.
because if we ain't getting the human infrastructure bill that you promised that we was gonna get, and you water it down to next to, that's why I was so funny when Manchin said, well, how about 0? Dude, we about
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
we ain't that far from your thing of saying 0. You
But
can explain to me in a million years how you went from 4 point whatever down to 1 point whatever, and you still have it. And
because he's a
you,
shield.
oh,
Yeah,
Joe
he's a
by the
Manchin,
shill.
way, now
yeah, Joe
talk
Manchin
about
is a shield. But
no,
he's a shield. Joe Manchin and Kristen Cinema, I never get her name right, but I'll get it. They are shields. There's more than those two senators
Yeah.
stopping the infrastructure
Yeah.
bill.
They're the representatives.
They're just like the token heads. They're like the okay, let's just put them out there publicly. We'll just use them for cover. We're gonna do what we gonna do, but we're gonna just use them to take the blame. Meanwhile, in the background,
But
we're
what
doing
annoys me the most is not journalists in the media, not Manchin in cinema, not Schumer and Pelosi, not even McConnell and the entire Republican Party. What annoys me the most is us, the general public, because we refuse to assert ourselves and exert ourselves.
exactly.
So we settle for these things, even though if you look at why is Manchin blocking everything, and pay attention to what he's
Yeah, voting rights.
complaining again about. He doesn't want to help working people.
And he's in the sixth poorest state. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
but he doesn't want to help poor people. Like when it was about clean energy, he said, well, we can't do that because, West Virginia is a coal state. No, about 8% of your population draws its income from coal. So you are a coal state,
Yeah,
but
you.
your state is unemployed. Okay.
Because
So
nobody's
so
working.
one thing is one more thing, and I'll
yeah,
let
yeah.
you. He did come out later. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. Well, I don't understand why we can't do natural gas anymore. We need to stop worrying about other countries. We have the ability to do natural gas. We can drill more and get natural gas. My state, literally this, my state has the infrastructure to do more natural gas for the United States, so we don't have to depend on the. Bruh, you are full of crap, and you just keep constantly going.
He's very transparent. It's all about where is he positioned to either himself make money or those connected to him make money. So he's going to protect the people who help make him rich, which are other coal companies. He's going to protect natural gas because it's an easy pivot to move from one to the other. They're probably already doing both, right? So it's so obvious, but we as a population allow ourselves to get twisted in the wind because we're missing the obvious parts. He's against that. He's against paid family leave. How can you be against paid family leave?
I'm still getting on
He
he's against voting rights. I'm like, dude, what?
Well, I know he is
No,
because
I guess him saying, I'm like, huh? Of all the things he's against, that one irritates me the most.
But the thing about that one is Biden, Schumer, and Pelosi, because that's leadership. So that's why I blame them. They gave him cover. They let him renegotiate the bill, which in my view, this is why I don't care if the infrastructure bills, both of them, I don't care if both of them fail. I am, well, because we all represent the same community. We are literally second-class citizens.
Exactly.
Okay. The 13th Amendment has been completely undermined. We do not have equal protection under the law. Because if we did, we wouldn't be sitting here watching as we speak 3 white men murder 1 black man, and you end up with a 12-person jury with only 1 black person on it, where the judge even says this has all the signs of racial discrimination, but go ahead. Okay.
Yep.
We wouldn't still be dealing with black men being murdered by police and no one actually getting put in prison. They just pay settlements and rehire them somewhere else. See,
Yep.
equal protection under the law would change a lot about how the prison system works, the court system works, and the police system works. But we don't have that. That's second-class citizenship. Then our voting rights, the fact that they even can be renewed,
Exactly,
that they're subject to review, that the last 4, well, there have been 4 presidents going back to Carter who have had to renew our voting rights. That's second-class citizens. That's Dred Scott. They did the Dred Scott decision. They tore up the paper. Yeah, they rescinded the judgment eventually, but you didn't take it out the hearts of man. So I find it hard to really care. I mean, I guess I care a little bit, but it's really hard for me to care about, you being able to put your kids in daycare and the bridge is getting repaired when, one, you don't even tell me how the money's going to be spent.
No, and it's going to private corporations anyway,
who already sit on the money and take 5 years to do any project anyway. So why do I care about your infrastructure if I don't even have citizenship?
That's a good question.
At this deal right now, I don't care about the infrastructure bill.
Yeah, I'm like, vote them both down.
The whole thing. I couldn't care less about your bridges, your roads, your whatever, your internet, whatever it is to the rural area, everything. When you still have an issue with, you have no problem from a physical point of view, bridges, roads, whatever. You have absolutely no problem putting a price tag on that and feel like that's best for this country. But when it comes to the infrastructure bill, the people who vote for you, the people who contribute to your campaign, the people who look out for you when it's time for you to get vote, and now you want to put a price tag on it. Now, and what's the most hypocritical thing, and I'm trying not to get upset because if I get upset, I'll start choking and coughing up a storm. The most hypocritical thing that's ever been said is we don't want to put this money for our children to be paying for. You morons do not realize that if you pass the human infrastructure bill that we asked for, the real one, not this watered down crap now, the real one, our grandchildren ain't going to be concerned about that because our grandchildren is going to prosper from it.
Well, they know that. They absolutely know that.
But they know that the American public
anymore. It is a lie. And you have no problem looking American people in the face
and lying to
them like that.
And the one that really makes me mad, Marlon, not to cut across you, but it's the one where the Pentagon asked for
anything they want.
No, they asked for a certain budget.
Yeah, it was something like I'm making up a number, but it's like the Pentagon wanted $500 billion, and Congress said, "Here, take $1 trillion."
Yeah, it was like, wait a minute, they didn't even ask for that. You could have took that money, that extra money that you put into the Pentagon, and put it, I don't know, in extending the tax credit for children, extending the child tax credit. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas, but I did want to move on to the next subject because this has got to be the last one. I wanted to talk about, and I just thought about this, about...
Oh, that's so cute. She thinks she's going to get under an hour.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to try. I'm trying. But I wanted to talk about something that is really, really troubling me. And that is, and we talked about this at the beginning, most political consultants, we know who they are. They're people that the campaign will bring in to target certain ethnicities or women or what have you. And I was reading an article, or I read a meme, either one, I think it was an article, that said that when they're bringing in especially the Democrat Party, because the Republicans don't try to get black votes, they just try to get crazy black votes. But when the Democrats are bringing in consultants on, how do we reach out to the African American community, the consultants themselves are not black. And I have a real problem with that. And I don't know what my problem is with it, but it's just rubbing me the wrong way.
The problem with it is the
Become a millionaire,
Democratic Party
being a
has
political contributor.
Say that again, Marlon.
You can become a millionaire being a manager, or however you say it, of a campaign.
Yeah. And also the thing is, I mean, look at how American society works. Okay. Biggest part of our world is entertainment. You look at a TV show that's written about black people, oftentimes the writing staff ain't black people.
Mm-mm.
All right. We have sports leagues where all the athletes might be black, where the vast majority of the athletes are black, but the ownership and the management, not black people.
Nope.
We have a Congress that has 100 senators, but only 3 of them are black people.
Name them.
If you look, and then if you follow what Mondale Robinson has often talked about a lot, is that no, they don't bring us in. They wait until the 9th hour and they want to throw us a show, like they just did with this McAuliffe thing. Ooh,
Yeah.
wait, we could actually address their issues, but we don't think they're smart enough for that. What we believe that they can actually absorb is give them a good show. So let's bring in what was the lady?
Obama.
Barack Obama, Michelle, Biden. They brought in Biden. They brought
Hillary.
in everybody.
They brought in the whole crew.
They brought in rappers. Ooh, they black people. Bring them some rappers, right? So they brought in Nas and all this stuff because that's what they think of us. See, we keep listening to this stuff as though they're talking to us. They're not.
They're talking at us.
Get into any level of debate with the vast majority of our white counterparts in the party and listen to how they respond to you. It's very patronizing. It's very much like, whoa, it's a little over your head. But I understand, you just don't understand, right? Pay attention to how people talk and treat you, and you'll figure things out. So the Democratic Party, they have no respect for our vote. They feel that we are not intelligent or capable enough to adversely affect them because of what we have to fear. And here's the kicker. They're right. And the reason I say they're right is because we have yet to decide to prove them wrong.
Exactly.
We have the ability. We have all of the infrastructure. We allowed our churches to fall apart and lose respect in our communities. That's on us. We allowed the respect for our elders to wither and fall apart. We allowed the gap between the young and the old to get so big that we're afraid of our own children. We allowed the few organizations that we do have to no longer be respected by us. NAACP is a butt of a joke instead of being appreciated for what they actually do. And a couple other ones out there, like the Urban League and stuff like that, right? They're shells of themselves. And now, a lot of them are kind of corrupt or not very effective, but they're ours. So since we don't want to use any of the stuff we have, and we believe whatever they have is better than what we have, and we're going to show up and vote for them anyway.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
And when we do it, we're not going to make any demands, though.
We never do. That's what makes me so angry.
So are they wrong to just show up at the church a week before Election Day?
Or the day of.
Are they wrong to have a big show with Beyonce and Jay-Z? Are they wrong to pander to us if that's what we respond to? So I'm trying to work on making that not true.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
But it's really hard to make it not true because
we keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's
we
like, y'all,
do,
stop.
but here's where I wrestle with some of our counterparts within our community who are like, the Democrats ain't been delivering for us. Screw them. We're done. Okay. Tracy, you already know I'm going to go with this.
Yep, I already know. I'll put you
Then
on
what?
mute.
But I'm saying, then what? See, I'm going to go wherever my people go. I would like for my people to follow the path that I think is right. But hey, if y'all ain't going to follow me, I'll follow you. But I'm going to ask, where are we going? I think that's a fair question. Where are we going? If we don't do this and we go ahead and do that, what's your plan?
But see,
And I don't get to hear a plan from people.
I think that's the thing that infuriates me. We as black voters don't demand anything. It's like, okay, just say you're not Republican and that's good enough. And when I voted in the last election, I was like, that's it. No, I can't not. Now, I did vote for some Democrats because they proven to me that they were able to do something. But that rest of that ticket, I was like, no, I'm not.
And
Because
that's fine.
and think, because I can understand what people are saying, we're not getting anything. We're not getting anything. The Democrats, over and over, we know the Republicans are straight up liars. Period. We don't even have to say it. It's just right there.
Oh, we gotta keep saying it. But yeah, I'm with you.
But when you go, especially when you go into a church, have you ever heard of not bearing false witness? Don't get in there and say something you know you against.
But that's
Have
on
some
your
respect.
that's on your church leadership to decide who can come up in there and what are they gonna be saying.
Yeah, because I'm like, nah, bro.
You don't let everybody in your house.
No, you sure don't.
And here's the deal with this is what I see for 2022. We're gonna lose.
Yep.
We're gonna lose. Let's get that out of the way.
But we want to lose.
Yeah.
Yep, they're setting us up. Yep.
No, not them. Us. We want to lose. Yeah. We've made the decision. My thing is, that's fine if that's the decision you've made. What's your plan? But go ahead, Marlon. I'm sorry.
Well, here's my deal. We really need to find a way to, if we're going to gather our voices, really and truly, we need to gather our voices. And I don't know how this, so don't tell me how. I have not a clue. We need to gather our voices on this pinpoint. Democrats, you lost because you did not achieve what you said you was going to do. And when they come back and go, well, it's been the progressive fault. Democrats, you lost because you did not do what you said you was going to do. Well, you got to understand. And Democrats, see, if you're going to play us like we're stupid, I'm going to show you literally the bottom line of every situation. The bottom line. And here it is. Did you achieve your agenda? But you don't understand how they.
Yeah, the parliamentarian.
Achieve your agenda. Did you do what you said you was going to do? Well, as a complicated young man, and yeah.
Once again, we don't understand, right?
Mm-hmm. Your agenda. I don't need no laughing, ha. It's
That's a yes or no.
Anything else. Did you do what you said you was going to do? And
you know what's funny?
I want to make sure for the next 2 years, from 2022 to 2024, this is the reason why you lost.
No, but here's what's hilarious about the whole thing. The Democrats literally could, and first of all, the Virginia election, I think everybody's really reading into it wrong, because you just look at going back. I think they went back 20 years on something I watched. The Virginia election does the same thing. I mean, it's an unbroken history. So this ain't about progressives. This ain't about black folk. This is about how white folk decide to vote. Yeah. Every other election. That's just how it is. And that's literally the whole story. But they don't want to do that. But the funny thing to me is, man, it just slipped. I'm sorry, Marlon. But the thing, as far as like all of it coming together for me, is we have to decide what it is that we want and then reverse engineer to where we are. Like that's like project planning 101.
Yep.
What you want to achieve and then start working backwards.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing is in man, I hate to sound like this, but I don't know, maybe it's hopefully this will jar some people if they ever hear me say it, but it's like showing up at the soup line because you're homeless, hungry, and starving and complaining about what's on the menu.
Exactly.
You don't want to do the work. You know, if you don't want to build organizations and you don't want to stump and you don't want to build your own politicians, you don't want to build your own voting block, you don't want to build your own lobbying organizations, you don't want to rally around your people, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, so that they can continue to move forward on an agenda. If you don't want to do any of the hard stuff, you just want to cast your vote and then sit back and say, why didn't I win? Like this is some kind of lottery. That's crazy. It's not how life works.
That is absolutely no different than the people who, and I have had pushback. Well, let me rephrase it. I didn't have pushback. I had no response. When you have people that go on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, and complain, and I go, that's a novel idea. Why don't you start a YouTube page and go online? I don't hear.
You're not gonna hear.
It's like their computer all of a sudden just pew.
Yeah.
Connection lost.
Yeah, what? I gotta do something? No. But guys, I hate to cut off this discussion, but I said I'm gonna keep this under an hour and 10 because y'all know what I do on Thursdays. But I do want to thank you all for converting me away from Dookie Byron Brown cut. I really don't got nothing to say good about that man. I'm really trying. But
ain't nothing nice to say about him. He's a parasite. He's exactly what he is.
You ain't got to find something nice about anybody who ain't nice.
Nope.
That's true, but I know, but I was raised better. I feel like I should.
Okay, so about Trump.
He made me realize that people vote for the wrong reason. People literally vote for the wrong reason. They'll vote for somebody because they're not the other guy.
We're at the 1 hour mark. I'm about to let you.
Yeah. Y'all know I'm right. But anyway.
I had a comment on that one too. Let me just hold on to this one.
No, I had
Yeah. And Trump also made me realize that impossible dreams can become possible because he had no business being president.
If you got the money.
Yeah, okay. Y'all said find something. I found something. But anyway, audience, I want to thank you all for joining us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe and read that little sign there. Support the telethon. Tickets are $9.75. I'm going to be doing all kind of stuff. Supporter. Say that again.
I'm a new Patreon supporter.
Oh, yes.
Hey,
yes.
Is the link going to be at the bottom of the video? Because then I can do that.
Yes, the links are always in.
Because I keep thinking about it and then I forget. I'm sorry,
they always in the section. But so that's 4. So hopefully with the telethon we get it up to 10. But it's okay. But remember, everybody, to like, share, comment, subscribe. This will be all over Twitter for those who miss it. I want to thank Marlon and Theus, and I was really trying to keep this under an hour, but yeah, Marlon, I can't do it because y'all just keep on pressing me, but that's okay. I want to thank everybody for joining me. We'll see you next Thursday. Have a fantastic evening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.